Medea is a very complex character in Greek mythology. She is the princess of Colchis, which is now modern-day Georgia. She's a descendant of Helios, the sun god, so she has some sorcery powers. It's a bit hard to talk about her without talking about Jason, the Golden Fleece, and his Argonauts. But long story short, Jason's uncle usurped the throne in their kingdom in mainland Greece and bid Jason go and retrieve the Golden Fleece, an impossible task that he thought would get rid of his nephew forever. Jason gets all of his buddies together and they sail on a ship called the Argo all the way from mainland Greece to Colchis in modern-day Georgia. That's where the Golden Fleece lives, and King Aeetes is the one in possession of the Golden Fleece. It's guarded by a magical snake, and when Jason arrives, Aeetes really doesn't want Jason to have this Golden Fleece, so he asks him to do a bunch of seemingly impossible tasks, which Medea helps him with her sorcery. Finally, retrieving the Golden Fleece itself, Medea gives the snake guarding the Golden Fleece a drug to make it fall asleep, and then she and Jason are able to snatch the Golden Fleece and flee. She's effectively betrayed her father, the king, doing this, but Jason promised that he would marry her. So she bundles into the Argo with her brother, and as they're sailing away, King Aeetes and his people are chasing them on a boat. So Medea actually kills her brother and chops him up into little pieces and sprinkles him across the sea. This delays Aeetes and his men. They're picking up the pieces. Medea and Jason and the Argonauts get away with the Golden Fleece. Jason agrees to marry Medea, and when they get back to Iolcus, which is where Jason is supposed to be king, Medea is able to convince the king's daughter to chop up their father and put him in a cauldron and say that's going to give him youth. So the daughters do this. They trust Medea because she's a sorceress, and she did a very similar thing for Jason's own father. But in effect, it was all a trick, and these girls chopped up their father. That means Jason's father can go back to the throne and Jason will be the next king. Medea and Jason have 2 children at this point, and for some reason Jason decides he doesn't want Medea anymore and he's going to marry a princess from Corinth instead. Understandably, Medea is furious. She pretends it's all G though, and she gives the Corinthian princess a beautiful gown, but it's laced with poison. The princess wears the gown and she dies. Medea then, in revenge, she kills her own 2 children with Jason, but also potentially to spare them from a life where they are no longer legitimate prince and princesses. Medea then flies off in a dragon wagon, a literal chariot drawn by dragons that flies, and she goes off to Athens and marries King Aegeus. Jason has probably the most ridiculous hero's death. One day when he's old, he's just walking on the beach and he looks at his old ship. He's just admiring it, and then a piece of the ship falls on him and kills him. What an inglorious way to